everyone, my name is Sahar and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this video is episode 3 of the Career Talk series, where I bring on guests to share their career journeys, whether they're in the beginning stages of establishing themselves or have steadily been climbing the ladder over the past few years. Last week, I shared part 1 of my interview with my cousin Ruminder, where we talked about his time as an undergraduate student and the foundational years of his career as a marketing consultant. Today, we're going to dive into part 2 of our conversation, where we'll be talking about B's time as an MBA student at University of Toronto's Rotman School of Commerce, followed by his current entrepreneurial venture. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's get started.
So what steered you towards pursuing an MBA?
Yeah, I did pursue my MBA, I believe, after 10 years of work experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not know this either, but prior to the MBA, I did apply for a master's education program in education management.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I applied to Boise,
Okay.
University of Toronto, and I actually was enrolled for one semester. So it was online. I took 2 courses, and in taking those courses and then talking with one of the academic directors in terms of what I was looking for, you know, she said that it seems that you're better suited for an MBA, right? Because I wanted kind of learning about some of the core management skills, but I also had an interest in finance. I wanted to know about supply chains, and now with data analysis being so important within organizations, that wasn't really covered when I was doing my undergrad. So then she recommended maybe an MBA be better suited for you. And I thought, I've already done an undergrad in business. I want to do something different in my master's, right? So kind of also looking at it from a point of view of widening my career options. That so but yeah, no, I applied to a few programs. I had an excellent discussion with the advisor at Rotman, and Rotman really has it's a very it's a very accelerated program, but it touches on so many different areas within business. And me having undergrad in business, I didn't realize how much things had changed, right? Like you kind of, business is very dynamic. So I thought, okay, it makes sense for me to kind of go back at this point in my career and relearn what's kind of new in the market, right?
Yeah. When choosing which university to attend, what were the main deciding factors when narrowing down your search?
With MBA programs, it's probably going to sound bad, but brand does matter,
Yeah.
right? And if you're going to be investing, MBA programs are quite expensive, and that's also a reason that I did wait, because you want to have enough, to cover all your, tuition costs. So, for MBA programs, brand does matter, but each school has specific focuses as well.
Yeah.
So, some schools may be better for consulting, some may be more finance related, some may be more generalist. And for that reason, University of Toronto has an excellent reputation. Rotman has an excellent reputation, and just the quality of academic research they're doing in the business area is, I believe, they're third after Harvard and Wharton.
Okay.
So excellent professors, and for that reason, I think just also looking at the academic professor bios in terms of where they were coming from, it was exciting that you could learn so much from the research that they've done. So that was really appealing.
Yeah.
And depending on like location is also important. I mean, the fact that Rotman's in Toronto, and it's very close to Bay Street and all the different companies that are. And so in terms of networking, in terms of building some of those relationships with some of the major banks or other companies that are located in the vicinity, I thought it was very appealing.
So how was the application process and how did you prepare for it?
I think for graduate application for a graduate application, especially for an MBA, like they're looking at not only looking at sort of the academic side, but are you going to bring something unique to the cohort,
Okay.
right? So it's more so that they want a diverse set of students that would then kind of add to the cohort that could provide healthy discussions within a classroom. So don't be discouraged if you are from in a technical background or liberal arts background or whatever, right? Like they want to see a diverse set of students in the classroom. So I would highlight that in your personal statement. Like the personal statement, I believe, is very important to tell your story in terms of why you are applying for an MBA program. And typically an MBA program will have like a quantitative assessment, either a GMAT or they'll have their internal assessment as well. So do prepare for that. Like I did prep, I believe, a few months to kind of just trying to remember calculus and all these concepts that I kind of were out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I did prep for that. And that's very important because there is, depending again on the MBA program, there's a fairly heavy portion that's quantitative.
Right.
And that's something again that I really appealed for me at Rotman is that the quantitative side I felt was something that I needed to work on. So I would definitely learn more in terms of statistics and data analysis and that type of thing. So definitely prep for the quantitative assessment. Interview, of course, is important. You have to really highlight why you are a good fit for the program, what you would bring that's unique. So this is where, if you're from a non-business background, to really highlight, how you could be an effective member of the class, of the cohort.
Right.
And there's a lot of interview prep online. So I do recommend, students to kind of go through that process and see what MBA committees would ask you, and ensure that you're ready for that. Because I know a lot of, I know a few people that were applying to MBA programs, both at Rotman and other places as well, and that they think, okay, if it's more natural just to wing it and not be prepared,
right,
that doesn't always go the right way, right? So I do prepare for that.
okay.
And and yes, GPA is important, but I found that that's not the most important thing. Like they really want to see professionals that have done well in their career. So your references, if you can have your current supervisor or other colleagues that can attest to your your professional capabilities and what you can do, that's extremely important
Okay.
as well. So
It's
get some good references. Yeah,
yeah, so it's like a more holistic application rather than
much more so.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you gain from your MBA that you wouldn't have gotten outside of an academic setting?
Yeah, and I realized this after completing my MBA,
Mm-hmm.
but the relationships that I've built with my cohort, um, it's been extremely helpful, right? Because again, you've connected with people from different work backgrounds. They're working in different, and many times with MBAs, like they are, a lot of students are directors and senior managers, and they have tons of experience and they can share even their wisdom. So um, the network that I built from my MBA, I believe, is the most valuable
Okay.
part of the degree.
Okay.
And you know, yes, there's certain concepts that I learned that I apply now more so, especially working in the consulting side with different clients. That's something that's valuable. Some of the strategies that you use um, to present findings, and those definitely have stuck with me. But the network and the ability to call this person or talk to this person or get the this feedback regarding this, or just having really interesting conversations about what's developing in again different fields. So I believe that's the most valuable thing. Second to that is also those, and a lot of it has parallels to your undergraduate study as well. I mean, I have a few professors that I keep in touch with. Um, and yeah, it's great sometimes to get even through an email, you may just shoot off a question and they'll have their perspective. And um, yeah, I found that's been extremely valuable as well.
Okay, so now we'll move on to what you're up to currently. You've started your own company, which is amazing. And so I guess we'll just dive into the process behind that. So you've been building your company for a few years now. Was this
Yeah.
always the ultimate plan, or did you have, like, did this entrepreneurial idea stem from your MBA?
You know, it really did stem from my MBA. Because being in that program, again, it kind of opened my eyes. It not only in entrepreneurship, but you know, you're around individuals that are very ambitious. Like MBAs typically do bring in a lot of type A personalities, so there's a lot of competition as well. But it makes you really raise your game, and it also opens you up to possibilities that maybe you never thought of. So, um, and in terms of the courses that I felt I was performing best in during my MBA were all the entrepreneurship classes. So it was just something that I guess I've always been, you know, I believe, you know, they always say the entrepreneurs are born and not made, and there's all these different quotes and stuff, right? But, you know, I felt for me that program really helped me define that I would want to be an entrepreneur. And this is my path. So the idea did stem during my MBA. And with any business, it's important to solve a problem that no one else is solving, or have a different perspective to a problem that no one else is kind of solving. So me being in the international education sector, you know, there's a lot of opportunities to build bridges between, you know, again, different countries, or with the journey from an international student coming from a particular country to Canada. So yeah, the idea was sort of formulated during my MBA, and from that, like it was still a process to kind of then, you know, ensure that once I come back to my employer, that you know I give them, because my employer was paying for part of my tuition as well. So you can't just come back and be like, hey, peace out, I'm actually gonna start my own business.
So what inspired you to build your own company?
Yeah, you know, I like the independence of entrepreneurs in terms of setting their own schedule. There's really no, you know, earning ceiling. Like a lot of times, especially in my professional career, you know, you're really limited working in the public sector, right? Like in terms of earning potential, and sometimes there's freezes on raises, and you know, you're working hard, but you don't see it benefiting you from a salary perspective. So I like the fact that there's really no ceiling, and you know, it really depends on how well I do in my business in terms of generating revenue. So that was something that I felt very appealing, and I felt I had a business problem that clients would find beneficial. So it's again coming back to that. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to solve a problem that others would kind of pay for you to help solve, right? So I thought I'd come across an idea that would be beneficial. So it was kind of a combination of these 3 or 4 things.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you for your...
No, thank you so much for having me as well.
This is great. Any closing remarks you want to give at all?
For all the aspiring entrepreneurs out there that would like more information on the process to start your own business, feel free to connect with me through LinkedIn. And Sahar, I appreciate you taking the time to learn more about my journey and my story. And I wish you all the best for your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
I know you're going to do awesome. So all the best.
And that is the end of our interview. As Beat had mentioned, if you have any questions, you can throw him a message on LinkedIn, which I'll have linked below. And you can connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn, which I will also have linked below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future Career Talk episodes and much more. That's it for now. See you guys next week.